Because this probably needs to be said for, like, one person in the audience, I do not condone any acts of violence or harm via these methods I have detailed. These are tips easily found on both the internet and books on forensics. I only condone violence in instances of self-defense, though I question how you'd get into a situation where you'd need to use poison in a self-defense scenario. Look, just don't cite me in your murderer manifesto, and also don't actually hurt or kill anyone. That's all I ask. If you need somebody to tell you that, I'm glad I told you! On to the rest of the actual video. Whoa. I hope you can understand if I forgo the rod today. It gets tedious having to spoil you brats. Let me disclose this up front, as I was simply trying to get the basics in on the first day, and kick out the unworthy stragglers that may stray from your righteous path that hopefully ends with you becoming a part of a perfect pair. All of this is going to be rather rudimentary stuff, and I have to breeze past all of this in roughly a year's time. Poisons, acting, manipulation, hell. Even weapons could take 4 years on its own terms if you just talk about short range and stab wounds. If you can find something that interests you in this class, you can speak with me about it, and I can recommend you some resources outside of class that'll serve your particular interests, effectively speaking. If that is understood, let us discuss our next unit. Poisons. Poisons, to put it bluntly, are substances that cause death, injury, or harm to organisms, usually by chemical reaction or other activity on the molecular scale, when an organism absorbed a certain quantity. That's the driest way of saying it. There are many variations that vary between leaving your target vaguely injured to dead, so it depends on your motives what poison may be best to use. Alcohol and most mild sedatives can be used to keep a target under your control without putting them under, and can be gained with more relative ease compared to materials like cyanide or arsenic. Plus, if you want to take a more deadly approach, mix them together and boom, you'll definitely get something. Of course, you'd always look to the world around you for answers to your problems. Polonium is far too difficult to get your hands on in this day and age, but 10 pounds of apple seeds contain enough cyanide to kill an adult man. So it stands to reason that if you grind enough of them down and serve them in an apple pie, you could stand to do something. At least, make them very ill. You really gotta spitball here is what I'm trying to say. Murder isn't A plus B equals C. Murder is an art in of itself. You can call anything art, basically, the same way that as long as you actually kill somebody, you could technically call it murder. So, you know, play around in your field. Find what you're comfortable with. Try oil paint sometime, you know? That could probably kill someone. My personal favorite poison just happens to be hemlock. It's a quite dangerous plant through all stages of development, and many men have died from simply eating birds that have ingested hemlock seeds. Though it is used in many medicines treating everything from anxiety to asthma, the best thing about it is that you only need a relatively small dose to do damage, which is a better gamble than trying to trick them into eating 1/10 of their body weight in apple seeds. Though I did know a student who could do such a thing. Of course, I could list every dangerous set of chemicals and plants on the planet, and where to find them, but the fact of the matter is that it doesn't matter one bit, really. It's what you plan to do with what you have. That's why I was talking so much about creativity earlier. You have to be crafty, and you have to be careful. If you're simply looking to kill somebody, a toxicology report will give the coppers an answer sooner rather than later. And the last thing you need is to have those pigs swarming you. If you're looking to knock someone out, do your research beforehand. There's no instant knockout pill that'll make your job any easier for you outside of your classic baseball bat, though that does not guarantee they'll do so much to survive the excursion in the first place. So I personally recommend just slipping in some sleeping pills and waiting till they're unconscious to do your dirty work. Sleeping pills and strong allergy medicines although not what one would consider poisons, are effective ways to keep your subject in a state of dullness and laziness. And I consider it a good way of getting your dear, sweet darling close to you. But they will build up tolerance eventually, and oh, what a day that'll be. Although I regularly advocate research above all else, it is crucial in times like these. With the math involved, it's truly a fine line between if you're going to kill someone and if you're going to roofie someone. And both of those things can be done with the same kind of drugs. Feel it out, you know? Maybe experiment a bit before you go after the real big fish. But always do it under some kind of cover. It can mean bad things for all of us if a single one of you is caught by the unyielding arm of Johnny Law. Do not get caught. With that said, your assignment for the next week is to enact experiments like this. Find a person, put them in a vegetative state, and write about it in a report. When I say vegetative state, I mean between the line of life and death. Not death. If any of you kill your target, we are going to have a stern conversation in my office, you and I. Pick up a vial from Mr. Walt in room C244 and tell him that Lakka sent you. He'll know what you mean. I'll be handing you back your reports in a month or so. As when I said there was no page limit, you really made sure that I'd regret saying that, as every essay on my desk from 3 periods of 30 students is 20 pages long. At least you're committed. Otherwise, you'd probably be committed. Class dismissed.